Hello, everybody!
Hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear us and see us and all the rest of it.
Yes, we're live.
Things almost went
Live.
horribly wrong, and then it didn't.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
I'm going to just fiddle with my camera until...
Robin's going to fiddle with himself.
Yeah, until it drops off the floor or something.
I don't know what kind of turn-up we're going to get tonight because we haven't really got a specific topic in mind. I did briefly catch a little bit of Andy's from Blackjack Elixir yesterday. He was talking about the 5 things that you should stop doing in 2022 or something like that. I didn't have time to watch the rest of it though, but
I saw that title. I didn't actually watch. I only saw part of the title, but I immediately thought of you because I know you've got a bit of a bugbear about people saying, "Here are 5 things you should do,"
or shouldn't do. I hate all
or shouldn't do. I kind of feel like that's your. I know you've got a bit of bugbear about that. It's like, well, I'm going to fucking do them now.
Well, yeah. That is the way to make me do or do not do something. Is to tell me to do the opposite. I'll be like, right, well, fuck you.
Do you know what the 5 things were? These are 5 things you should do.
I didn't actually.
No, I haven't.
I wasn't able to stick around to see them all.
Oh. I've just realised I haven't plugged my camera into the plug, so I'm just going to do that in case it power.
Who have we got in tonight? We have a Mr. Marlowe who is holding a grunting gremlin. Who Sterling Northam is back. Hello, Sterling.
Mr. Marlowe.
Hello to you both. There's only 5 of you on tonight, but like I said, I didn't think there'd be too many people around tonight because we haven't really got much of a subject. I do that. Maybe that's a subject for tonight's discussion. Do subjects make a difference? I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how any of this YouTube
Hold
stuff
out in the
works.
studio, my nose is starting to run. Although it's warmer than it has been for quite a few weeks.
Yeah.
A mighty 11 degrees out here when I came out.
Toasty. Shorts weather.
Pretty much.
Max gave a squeak when the bang went off. Sorry about that, Max.
Oh, Max.
You need little baby headphones, Andrew. Teeny tiny baby headphone, baby ear protectors.
I've been vicariously enjoying fatherhood through Andrew. It's like, oh, look at that, it's really cute, but thank God I haven't got one.
Yes. God, I'm glad that's not mine, because I just don't want them anymore. Not yours specifically, Andrew, obviously. Nothing against your child. I just don't want any babies anymore.
Hate them all equally.
I can appreciate babies because you can hold them and love them and squeeze them, and then when they cry you can give them back.
Kids are like farts. You love your own and hate everybody else's.
I was trying to think of another thing there about forcing it and it being shit or something, but I couldn't come up with it in time. So we are generally ad-libbing tonight, mostly 100%. We've got a very vague subject for us to talk about, but it's never stopped.
Very unlike us. Normally we're ruthlessly prepared.
Yeah.
Right down. Every minute is accounted for in the pre-show planning.
Yeah. Normally we have our 15 points that we want to discuss, our 5 do's and don'ts of your hobby life and all the rest of it.
There's really very little chance for any sort of winging it.
There was a video that got shared recently on YouTube, not on YouTube, it got shared in our Discord. There was a guy on YouTube, a guy who's, I think he's called MS Paints or something. He's a guy who's got MS and he does hobby videos. So he's got like the dreads and a big beard and a big beanie hat thing over his dreads and stuff. And his videos were really well done. They were really good candor, and he just talked really openly and honestly. And he was going on about on one of the videos that was shared, I think by Mr. Morph, in fact, and he was saying about how he hates when he sees videos of people saying, stop doing this one thing in your painting or something like that. And I quite like the way he did these things, but I just don't have the organisational ability to be able to come up with a subject and organise a cohesive sort of cogent, that's the word, a cogent sort of 10-minute rant that I could video and come off properly would just be...
Oh, I don't believe that for a second. There must be about 1,000 things you could have a 10-minute rant on, but maybe not hobby related.
But they wouldn't be cogent. Just be me shouting at the camera.
Yeah.
And they go, and then another thing that pisses me off. And it wouldn't be funny either. Whereas he was quite amusing in the stuff he was talking about. Just listening to it, I was thinking, yeah, that sounds about right. Babies are like hand grenades, says Mr. Marlowe. They just go off. I mean, I don't think they should. Just sit there.
They do pop sometimes.
They do, that is true.
Yeah.
Trying to find the YouTube channel for anybody else who wants to see him.
I missed that completely. I might, if you do share it, I might look it up. I would like to do more discussive pieces about hobby life, but I have a few ideas and they tend to come in waves, so that I have like a few ideas, do 2 or 3 videos, which do quite well, and then I don't have any ideas for another month. And then I think of something else. But I think it is very dependent on what else is going on in life. I have very little hobby time this month, and so I've barely thought about the hobby at all. It's like, oh shit, it's Tuesday again. Or oh God, it's Thursday. What am I meant to be playing with Pete this week?
I have.
Go on.
So I was just going to say, I've put the link to his channel. He is called MS Paints.
Okay.
I remember him saying in one of his videos that he has been diagnosed with MS. And
right.
I think he created the channel. I don't know if he created the channel to journal his experiences as he went on, or whether he just created the channel because, unsurprisingly, I think he works in the creative industry, in music and stuff like that, which is very evident in his channel. I think you can tell he's one of those creative types. A bit like, wasn't Midwinter Minis? He was a creative type, although he was actually a doctor or something. But he did creative stuff with music and.
Zarastro. I'm not sure he was a doctor. I think I read between the lines and got that completely wrong. I don't think he was a doctor. Zarastro as well. He was into music stuff.
Yeah.
You can tell that in his production. He actually sells these music files.
Midwinter Minis. His wife was a GP, wasn't she? That's
something
what I was
like
thinking.
that. Maybe that's where I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, do check that channel out. It's really good. I mean, it's not like I'm helping out the little guy here because he's got like 5 times as many subscribers and all the rest of it as we have, but it's worth watching.
9, he says, holding up 8 fingers. People watching. Maybe that's the problem we have. Attention to detail is terrible.
Yeah.
Literally 9 people watching right now. One of those is me. Actually, I was right because one of those is me. So we have actually got 9 people watching. I just realised you're in the circles. You can't even see my finger, so it's totally.
I don't know if any other channels that do like a weekly chat with two presenters. Quite often they're like Blackjack Legacy, like Andy, who just goes solo and those kind of things. So it must be a bit easier to try and do that kind of thing when you're on your own, because you can just do what you like, really.
I suppose so, but talking for an hour.
Yeah, I can do that.
Talking for an hour. I have done it when you've been ill and things, but it's really hard. You really do. I suppose that's why they're more focused, because you really do need a kind of at least a list of bullet points to work from and a plan of what you're going to talk about. Otherwise, you just die on your feet.
And he's a very organised man. I remember seeing one of his behind-the-scenes things. He writes a whole script and he has it on an iPad that has in an app that has a slow scrolling thing. So he's got, like a teleprompter and all that. I ain't got time for that.
I want to have one of those. It's just my brain, just scrolling through.
Unfortunately, every now and then yours just suddenly shoots ahead and then goes back again and then goes on to the side.
Oh, I say that. Yeah, well, that's what we're known for. Freeform winging it. Seth Levine says, "Are we going to be agents of Bladeborn next year?" I think we're definitely going to play some more. In fact, we are going to play some more on Thursday.
Yep.
This coming Thursday, which probably won't see the light of day till next year. But we are going to play the other 4 warbands in 2 matchups.
Yep.
And see how we enjoy that. Hopefully we do.
Yep.
The Bladeborn videos have been doing very nicely for us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is good. I guess it's a new game, and I don't know how much other content there is out there for it. So, maybe we're in the right place, right time.
They did better than our most recent Blitzball video. I was quite disappointed by the performance of that one. It did quite badly. I don't think it's even hit 400 views. So it was a bit.
Yeah, Blitzball's a funny one, and as I said to you when we were just chatting, I think we get a lot of views from people who want to see the new stuff, and once it's not new.
Not interesting.
I don't know which came first, whether it's Games Workshop sort of setting off the hype train or just it's what people want. People were very, very focused on the new.
It doesn't help that we missed the train on things, because we got this. And we've got this.
Oh yeah.
And I've not had a chance to do anything with either of them.
No.
Yeah.
No, well, we won't get those anymore. We got on the wrong list. So we had a brief period of time where we were on the wrong list, and we got some Age of Sigmar stuff, but we're not on that list anymore.
We sold ourselves out. We're sitting there in the VIP area going, "Excuse me, I don't think we're meant to be in here." We're like, "Get out."
Pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much what it was like. But your dad did indeed comment, Andrew. We will do more Blitzball because we love it, and I think to answer your earlier question, Andrew, I think 2022 is going to be more about playing what we like and what we want to play on any given week.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we are so, due to I think COVID and our slight disinterest in Warhammer Underworlds, our numbers have kind of dropped off. So there isn't really any difference between allegedly what people want us to play and what we just want to play in numbers. It doesn't really seem to make much difference. So I think you could see more. You could expect to see more variety from us in 2022.
Yeah,
and
we're definitely going to be looking at more board game type things. I think we tried Kill Team. That was just too much. I mean, that should have been theoretically a very quick game, but GW did what GW do and splooged all over it with rules. So
I think we are going to try it again, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we'll try it at least one more time. At least one more time. Yeah, we're definitely going to play Fire Team as well, but definitely some Kill Team with your Necrons, and we've got this to compare it to. So I think you could see a few videos on that, which one is worth playing, and the strengths and weaknesses of both and either.
Yeah.
So this arrived today from Mantic Game Centres. And obviously I haven't done anything with it yet. But you can expect to see some Dead Zone content. We've got some Overdrive content coming as well from Mantic, but Pete's in the middle of recording that.
That's just been uploaded.
But I'm really
it's going to go out to our patrons tomorrow.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to opening up the Dead Zone box and having a look at that and playing it. It's more things to paint, which is a bit stressy. But looking forward to that. But let's have a look at the comments. Milky says Bits Boys is his favourite game at the moment. He enjoyed the last video. Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's about. The patrons, to a degree, can rule anyway. So if you want us to play Blitzball, if enough of you say play Blitzball, then obviously that's what we'll do.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, I think 2022 is going to be much more the year of whatever we want to do. I think the wheels have quite come off the Underworld train now. We're not the only channel that's kind of stopped covering it. A few channels have just completely stopped and gone elsewhere. I'm
hoping, although Omicron or whatever it's called is probably scuppered it slightly, I was hoping it might rise from the ashes during 2022, because, and we should say this, that there is a straight out of Shadespire tournament coming up this weekend.
Yes, I'll dig those details out.
That. So if you're looking for a game at the weekend, then sign up for straight out of Shadespire. We've commentated a couple of them in the past. They're really good fun. Lots of really lovely people joining in and playing. I think this one is championship rules, and I think it's like Highlander format, so there can only be one warband of each type. But so Valentin's running that, and he ran those all the time over the first sort of set of lockdowns and everything, and they were great. So it's good to see those back, and I'm hoping tournaments like that can get going and people can start getting into their Underworlds again, because it has been very quiet, and it's very hard to summon up enthusiasm as a content provider when the enthusiasm for the game is quite low, which is a shame because it is a good game. But I was looking at the stats and just thinking, well, we should play Bladeborn this week because Bladeborn seems to be of more interest than Underworld.
I have just pasted in the live chat the link to Straight Out Shadespire 19, which is, like you say, December the 18th at 2:30. Do go check it out and register. It looks like there's
probably North and think the new kill team is pants. Well, we have struggled with it, but we will definitely be. It looks amazing. It doesn't play as well as it looks, which I think that could be the Games Workshop tagline.
Looks great.
Doesn't play as well as it looks.
I think the thing I like the base rules in the game. I think the base movement and shooting and attacking and fighting, close combat and stuff, that all works really well. But then it's just I'm not sure where the layers of extra stuff come. I'm not sure at what point the layers get too much. And I think maybe we'll do better with like the compendium kill teams instead, because they're just not as easier.
We've kind of had that discussion several times, haven't we? But it is kind of like there are some people who love that layer of complexity, and I think Henry, who quite often comments, and he loves those layers of complexity. He really thinks it gives the game more balance and more kind of crunch. Really enjoys it. And then there are people like us who just find it too much. And actually, I think I've enjoyed we haven't played it a lot, but the game of Fire Teams we played were just really good fun, and there wasn't crunch, but you felt like decisions made a difference, and I think that's for me the difference. I don't know whether you agree with this, Pete. When playing games like Kill Team, and even to a lesser extent Warhammer Underworld, sometimes the important decision making is made at the beginning, before you actually play the game. And it almost feels like if you've got the wrong people in the wrong place once you've started, there's almost nothing you can do in Kill Team.
Yeah, I mean, if you're including setup in that important decision making, then definitely. Yeah. I think with Underworlds as well, you can go one step back from that and start with the deck building. And if you haven't got a very good deck, it doesn't matter how good your placement is. You're screwed.
Yeah, and I think it's completely true. And placement and playing on the table is important in both the games. But I feel like more with Kill Team, if you haven't got the right tools for the job before you put your army down, then you've had it, and it doesn't really matter. Almost doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah. Seth Levine says cognitive overload, and definitely there is an aspect to that when you've got to look in 5 or 6 different places to get the rules you need. At that point, I'm out. It just becomes. It's not fun anymore. It just becomes bookkeeping, and it's just about who can remember their special rules most. Yeah,
and the special rules don't add a lot most of the time. It's quite nice to have a little bit of flavour, but they don't actually add much in real terms. But anyway, I think we've talked about that before. But I am interested to see how it compares with Dead Zone, which I believe is much more simpler and has exploding D6s, which we talked about last week, or D8s.
I like exploding dice.
Yeah, because that was really fun. This I noticed on the back it's got D8s.
Yes, so, I think that system rolls D8s, not D6s.
It's got some special dice. And it's got D8s, so there it is again, the Dead Zone box.
He thinks there should be a simple version to get used to first, then add the special rules. I agree. I think the best way you can do that is to just play with the compendium kill teams.
Yeah, and I feel like GW have dropped the ball on that, because the basic starter set thing that they teased ages ago isn't out yet, is it?
No.
So they brought out the Kill Team Octarius box, and they brought out the Chownath ones out as well now, hasn't it? But they haven't brought out the kind of simple, because that has got simple. It's got a different rule book, hasn't it? Or at least they showed it in the when they did that preview. It's got kind of increasingly difficult missions in it,
and so.
That seems to me to be the way it should be played. But I don't know.
Milky says that they still play the original Kill Team using the base rules. I mean, the original Kill Team, the amount of dice that was rolled in that did my head in as well. But this version, it's all about the fact that they've got so many rules instead. Because the old version obviously didn't have that much in the way of rules. All the individual fighters didn't have tons of special rules and this kind of stuff. But you just had to roll a million dice to try and do anything. Whereas this version, they've gone the other way.
This version is better, I think, mechanically, but it has. I think it needs more, like you say, like the compendium teams, just more commonality between each individual. But other people disagree, so
each to their own. Yeah. For us, it's just too much.
I think it kind of almost need like 10 troops, a sergeant, and a captain, kind of thing. that would be complicated enough for me.
Yeah, sergeant, a special weapon or two.
Yeah.
A close combat guy, and then 5 to 6 regular blokes.
Yeah.
Something like that. Which you could build, you could make your kill team like that, but then people would just, I mean, for us, if we did that, people would be sitting there in the comments going, why have you taken this, why have you taken that? And like, just because I want to have fun and have a channel. And I don't think those two things, I think in the Venn diagram of life, having fun with it and also having a channel, I think would end up looking like our streaming display. One circle here, another one over there.
Another game we've got coming next year, which also arrives today, it's a good day of the post for me, was this.
Ooh.
The Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Electra Counts, which is a box, as you can see, and it is a card game from Cubicle 7. It's a card game. The card game is designed by Martin Wallace, he of Wildlands and Brass fame.
I don't think he invented brass.
He invented brass, yeah. And he's very old. This is actually the Germany actually was like this when he was around. No, he yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. I've asked a question of the people I know at Cubicle 7, but they haven't come back to me because it was towards the end of the day. I don't know whether it's a Martin Wallace game that's old and has been repurposed by them, or whether it's wholly new design from the ground up, or what. But I'm really interested to find out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. That is out in January, and we will have content to coincide with its release date. So we'll be playing that fairly early in the new year, which I'm looking forward to because it's well, it looks fun. It's you each play an elect account, and you're trying to. It's basically a civil war, and you're trying to get put on the Emperor's throne. The Emperor's died, and you're trying to get on the Emperor. And it's a card game. It sort of just looks quite entertaining, really.
Cool.
It's kind of like hidden. It's a hidden. It's not a hidden movement game. I don't know what it's called, but basically there are territories, and you fight for them, and you have to put defenders down. But you some of the time you keep what you're using to defend is a secret.
Okay.
So you might have rubbish in there, but your opponent doesn't know, so they might attack with their best forces, and then you go, aha, I've already defended. So they've wasted their good forces on your bad forces.
Oh, quite cool.
Yeah, it sounds quite good. It's 2 to 4 players.
It is based in the old world, Mr. Marlowe.
It is. It's called. It says. In fact, it says an old world card game. I'll just hold that up longer so you can read it.
I'm still can only see the old world bit. An old world. Yeah.
Oh, because it's the circle.
Yeah.
Bugger. That's because I'm looking at my camera. I forget the circle. Right, can I hold it back a bit?
Anyway, it's based back in the old world. I'm still looking at what GW are going to be doing next year with the underworld, not the underworld, with the old world, whatever it is they're doing, where they're bringing back square bases. I'm still kind of slightly interested in that. I'm like,
I definitely am. A bluffing game, yes, it is kind of a bluffing game, Jason. It's not entirely bluffing, but yes, it is quite bluffing-y.
Mr. Gaz,
I'm looking forward to.
Jason Newell are in the house. Hello.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the old world as well. I don't know how. I'm not sure we'll be playing it.
Because you'll need about £5,000 of models just to be able to field 2 units in a character.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking. I've been painting for my brother-in-law a Forge World 40k Horus Heresy model, so 30k, and
40k minus 10k.
Maybe I'll get one. And I thought, no, I'll wait in case they bring out a really cool Bretonian or something from the old world.
Oh yeah, maybe a new Green Knight.
It's Andrew. It's not done by Games Workshop. In answer to your surprise, they're doing old world games. What it obviously is. It's obviously licensed by Games Workshop, but the game is being distributed by Cubicle 7, who do the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game, 4th edition, which is fab. If a little bit complicated. Beautiful books. If you're into that.
Mr. Marlowe coming in with a.
They've actually finished the Enemy Within campaign. They've completely redone it. The last bit was out in PDF format this week or last week.
Awesome.
They've completely redone the Enemy Within campaign, and it's really cool. But I just haven't got any friends really to play it with.
Oh. It's the kind of thing I'd love to do again. I mean, so many things I look back at, and I think I'd love to do that, like rerunning the Enemy Within campaign, because it was so long ago when I last did it, I couldn't remember any of it, so it'd all be new to me anyway. And things like the idea of Warhammer, having a massive Warhammer army again, all that kind of thing just really appeals. But at the same time, who's got the time?
It doesn't appeal at all. I'm really hoping we can play lots more kind of board game type things, as you said a few minutes ago. I think whether they be Games Workshop or anything else, I think it's just fun to
a bit like these.
keep playing different games. Yes, we've got the planes for that plane. I missed the game cross, but yeah.
Yeah, I've started on 3. A red one, a green one, and started a yellow one.
Now I finished this model from my brother-in-law, I'm going to start my planes. I'm going to read John Grant's articles on how to paint them, and I'm going to try and get them primed up before I go away for Christmas.
I don't know what it is about these models, why I prefer painting the Blight Kings I've been painting over these, but I just can't get into the headspace to paint planes, and they've been really annoying me.
It's probably typical because we probably have no use for the Blight Kings whatsoever, and actually do want to use the planes. So that's probably why.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean the red plane alone, I put about 7 or 8 different layers of reds on. I started with the contrast, and then I tried dry brushing a lighter shade, and then dry brushing an even lighter shade, and I thought I need to go back with that one, so I need to go over it again with the contrast, and then do something else with it. I just can't get it right.
Did you follow John Grant's guide?
Unfortunately, whilst John Grant's guides are awesome, I mean they're still a level above what I can be asked to do.
I see. But you've done 7 coats on this one already, so you should have just gone straight to the master and done that.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read the guide yet, so I don't know. It could be, you know, paint system.
I definitely think that contrasts don't suit these.
No, I can see that. I can see that.
I've given up with contrasts, and I've now based them, and I've given them a wash, and then I need to give them a heavy dry brush, I think, to bring them back up again, and that's going to be my last attempt.
Milky says we need another Christmas Patreon online RP session. We do. We're back in alignment with the Australians a little bit better now for role playing. That would be cool. Jason, if you're watching, we need some role playing.
Wait, was that your thing you were doing on the Friday nights, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did a few. We did a few. We played. I'm trying to think what systems we played. We started with people have had children now, which is really inconvenient. We played some Merkberg, which is like a sort of horrific. It makes Warhammer 40,000 look like My Little Pony. It's grim dark. And then
it's a shame it doesn't convey that in the name, because I heard the name of you guys talking about it. I thought sounds a bit shit.
And then we played Troika, which is like the other end of the spectrum. It's like, well, it's not quite My Little Pony, but it's kind of like this crazy, yet fluffy world with all these zany things going on, which was great. And then a few of us played Mothership, which I really enjoyed, which is a sci-fi, old schoolish type game with some neat mechanics that had a very really nice old school feel, and the adventure that was James Syntax Error ran was really cool. Yes, you see, Milky says using a dead dog as his weapon was his highlight. That was Merkberg. Absurdist science fantasy. There you go. That's Troika.
Maybe you should just run a session of the enemy within. Just run that again.
It's too heavy. Well, I mean, I know people do it, and it's all available on Foundry, which is like a sort of tabletop, on a virtual tabletop system, which is really cool. But for me to get into it, it's too much for one session. And the advantage of things like Troika and all three of them actually, Merkberg and Mothership, they're very simple. Sorry, Jason, we did play Mothership, but it was when the clocks wouldn't align. Syntax James ran it, but I'm sure he'd be happy to do it. Well, I say I'm sure he'd be happy to do it again. He's got a less than 6-month-old, I think, so he may be a little bit busy. But we'll have to ask him.
And talk about that. Just a very quick segue into just saying congratulations to all our patrons this year who've had kids. It's been loads of you, and welcome for those who are having their first. Welcome to the club, and to those having their second, welcome to that more exclusive club of those with 2 children. I don't think anyone's mad enough to go into that through that third door into that other.
There's a few of us, but yeah. I actually preferred your tome zones, Jason.
Tome zones.
That's quite cool. That sounds like that's where I want to go, where I want to spend. Where are you going on holiday? I'm going to a tome zone. It's just full of books. That just sounds brilliant. even just some TTS fun times. Yeah, we should try and do that. He says, thinking that it'll probably never happen, but it would be great.
Thinking that the minute someone says, "Who wants to do this?" You're going to be the first one to go, "No, no, I don't think so."
I'm one of those people who has trouble getting over that inertia hump, and then once I do it, I really enjoy it. That is what I said, Milky. Thank you for that.
I have been finding when I've been looking through the Maggot Kim book, just that as well, making me think, I'd love to try AOS again. But that's only that little part of my brain that's remembering how nice it is having these big armies spread out and how cool that looks. But then you actually get into the game, and probably about 1.5 turns in, you sit there going, "This is a bad idea."
I, funny enough, had similar thoughts about Warcry, having enjoyed Bladeborn. I was thinking maybe we should try Warcry, but again, I think we need to be going smaller rather than bigger.
Yeah,
That's what I tell my wife.
but she didn't agree. Didn't agree. Yeah, I think things without scenery is generally where we're heading in that direction of now, at least.
Sorry, things without scenery. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's why we always have the blinds down when we go and play in the studio.
Makes me wonder whether you could do Warcry without scenery on hexes. Be no measuring then.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there is definitely or in theory, there's definitely a 3D element to Warcry, isn't there?
There is, yeah, theoretically. You could just say where you put the scenery. It's like 2 hexes up, and I don't know. You could possibly do something. We do have a 4x4 mat that's completely scenery, that's completely hex based now.
I know, yeah. I haven't seen that yet. I'm looking forward to rubbing myself up against that. Bring it over.
For anybody wondering what we're talking about there, we have got a neoprene mat for Aeronautica, because the cardboard ones are just too big up to fit on our table, and we kept bumping them last time, so we got a neoprene mat.
So just like about an inch too wide for the table, and every time we leant forward, the whole lot went across.
So we're getting that one so that we can then just trim off just like one hex line down one side, so it will fit on the table perfectly.
Oh, Seth's got to go. Cheers, Seth.
Thank you for joining us, Seth.
Hope you're enjoying the content.
And Happy New Year. Happy Christmas and New Year to you.
Yeah. I love this. Andrew's possibly, as he said, he got married and had children. So congratulations to Andrew and commiserations to Chelsea. Though presumably she's happy that she had a child.
As long as she did the marriage, then the children.
That she thought that it was a cooking program is still one of the funniest things. That says how focused we must have been on the games.
Milky mentioned OG Hero Quest on TTS. I think Hero Quest is one of those games that's best left in the past.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that about the Enemy Within campaign as well. Although I love the idea of it, I don't think I would ever be able to recreate those years when I must have been about 14, 15 when I played it, and it was just brilliant. Death on the Reich in particular, it was just brilliant. And if I tried to do it again, it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, and I wonder if you could teleport yourself back in time to see you and your friends playing that at that point, what you'd probably see is a bunch of teenagers or whatever just sitting around the table laughing about boobs and thinking, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about? Isn't
that the whole central point of Death?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But you'd be sitting thinking, this is just crude. You're not making any kind of double entendres whatsoever. I mean, this is just ridiculous. You would go back to that and you'd actually sit going, this isn't as good as I remembered it.
Yeah.
I think Hero Quest and Space Crusade and all those kind of things are kind of in that category. Someone mentioned further up War Master. I quite like the idea of small little teeny tiny like Epic. I like the idea of War Master.
Yeah. Like again, it's just a whole new system, isn't it? I don't even know if you can still get stuff for it. I mean, because
there needs to be like a hex-based version of War Master.
Jeff, who's not called Jeff, plays
Jeff.
some of the Warlord games, or at least collects some of the Warlord games, which has got the Civil War ones, and they're just bringing out the Napoleonic one. And I think I might have talked about this before, but I think my dad was a big Napoleonic Wars fan, and he had some models, and that's partly why I'm into wargaming and stuff. I'd love to get that, and the starter set was ridiculously expensive, or to get a decent sized army was ridiculously expensive. I'd love to get it, but I just don't have the will to actually play it.
Yeah. It's the same with all these things like AOS, 40k, all that kind of stuff. It's just we just can't. It's just not and run a channel. If we didn't do a channel anymore, there would possibly be more chance of us saying, okay, let's start like a. I mean, you mentioned it a little while ago. Doing like a 40k. Is it Path? It's not Path to Glories, is it? It's
Wrath and Glory.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That kind of thing we'd have more chance of doing if we didn't have a channel. But because we've got a channel, and there is still some pressure to do stuff that we can film for the channel, we can't do that kind of thing because it's like no one wants to see us play the 15th game of 40k with the same 3 units.
No. Wrath and Glory with a either Necromunda or Kill Team campaign thrown in. So that would be awesome. John Grant has played Rick Priestley at War Master. that's like nerd level hero quest, isn't it? Well, not hero quest. It's like a nerd. I don't know whatever I'm trying to say, but it's like winning the Olympics of nerdiness playing games with Rick Priestley. That's cool.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I on a very few occasions I sat there and contemplated trying to get into touch with Andy Chambers to ask if he wanted to come on the channel and talk about some of the things like he did that the plane board game.
That's just had a new edition.
Yeah. And I thought I should do that, but then I realised no.
I wish I played that. But I wished so much that I just took my copy down to the charity shop because I realised I was never going to play it.
Mr. Rozza's in the house. Rozza is in the house. The winner of the most recent Bugman's Clash.
Champion. We have a champion amongst our midst. Another champion.
He is the champion.
Proof that Underworlds is alive and well in its rivals format. It's Rozza.
Yeah. Won with my Armies Purifiers, no less, which is, I feel was quite impressive in its own right anyway. But well done, Rozza.
Yeah.
Going very quickly back to Rick Priestley, I'm sure I remember reading somewhere that he was a massive gamer, in that he was like, he wouldn't outright cheat, but he would definitely pull every trick out of the book he possibly could.
Right. And that's why Andy lost.
Yeah. Like, he used to have, I used to play Empire, and I remember someone saying something about how he would do the trick of, he'd sort of say, I'm going to shoot at that unit, but he knew how long his arm was, so he'd sort of point at them, and he'd be like, okay, I think it's going to be, and he knew his arm was, whatever, 29 inches or whatever, so he'd be able to guess like 26 or whatever it was, something like that. Maybe that's just made up, but I remember hearing that from a few sources, so it's hard to tell.
Who knows? I did meet him once. A long time ago.
Milky says that he thinks our current patrons are mostly patrons because of us and the community. I think you're right.
I assumed it was because they didn't know how to cancel direct debit.
Well,
which makes them just like us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just wait till the card expires. You've got no other option.
I want to cancel the gym.
yeah. It's the Friends episode. I had a thing. There's a company. Literally about 2 months before all the lockdown kicked in, I found out about this account where you could pay online, and you basically paid in advance for like a month's worth of lunches at work in London, and you basically got it like at quite a discount, so you could then go to different places and just say, I've got this meal plan thing, so I want that meal, and all the places would do things, and it worked all right, but then 2 months later lockdown kicked in, and I had to cancel. Well, I didn't cancel it, I paused it. It was easier to pause it than to go through the hassle of cancelling it, and I had to keep renewing the pause for 3 months, every 3 months, because it would come and go, it's going to kick in again, so like, I'm still working from home, I don't need this, but I just kept pausing it because it was easier than cancelling it, and then I forgot to pause it again a couple of months ago, and it's just kicked in, but my card's expired, so I don't have to do anything now.
Brilliant. As long as they don't come and break your door down, so you owe them money for meals you haven't eaten.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of feels sad because there's a lot of these companies, all these people aren't going to them anymore. But at the same time, I don't need them. Stop asking me for money. I wish I knew how to take Milky's comment, which is, that he thinks most of the people in the Patreon community are there just because of us and not because of what we play, and expand that worldwide, so we could get more people in and we could grow that community. I've got no idea how.
Yeah, I would love to grow both the Patreon side, although everybody there is lovely, so we don't really need any more people over there, but it would be great to grow that, or just grow the channel generally would be really great. That would be my dream for 2022. It was my dream for 2021, and it had the opposite effect, so maybe I should try and trash the channel and see whether I can get it to grow that way. Or somebody called Emily Anderson has just come in. I don't think that's a real person, however.
Yeah, I feel not. Goodbye, Emily Anderson. You have been removed.
Always exciting. Random people come in and type letters that you don't quite understand what they mean.
For a little while, I thought when we started getting spam messages on our YouTube videos, I thought we made it. But it turns out no, we just ended up in some random filter, which is a shame because it didn't come with any additional fame and fortune at all.
No. I've checked all those links out that they send us, and none of them are as good as they pretend they are.
I put all my credit card details in. I hear nothing from any of them.
Nothing at all. Yeah, bizarrely, the bank got in such really weird.
yeah, 2022 definitely gonna be a year of whatever it is we fancy playing. Maybe some weird and wonderful things in there. See what we can find. Definitely Aeronautica though.
Yes, I hope Aeronautica, Marvel Crisis Protocol, some Underworlds, obviously, a bit of Dead Zone.
Maybe, yeah.
And then probably not for loads and loads, but definitely some Elector counts in the first month or so.
Blitz Bowl.
And then we'll see more planes.
Definitely got to get the Necrons when they come out. Definitely want the Necrons. Maybe some Fire Team, Bladeborn. I can't remember if you just said those. Fire Team, Bladeborn. There's actually a lot of games already that we want to play.
There are a lot of games, yeah.
The problem is none of those games really get you famous.
No.
If you want to be big, you've got to play like 40k and
Yeah,
AOS.
we're not going to do that, so there's not much point dwelling on that. We did play last week another game that won't make us famous. We played the Battle for Barlin's Tomb.
Yes.
Which was a fun little asymmetric game. That video will be out forthwith.
Yep, sometime between Christmas and New Year, probably.
Yeah, that was well, I won't spoil it, but we enjoyed it. It's fun. It's very simple, and it's fun. Decided Warhammer was too expensive a hobby for Max to have Lego forever. Yeah, but if you can, get the right Lego pieces, then you can actually play things like Marvel Crisis Protocol, or possibly even Kill Team with Lego.
Also, if you get them hooked on Warhammer early enough, they'll never develop a drug habit because they won't be able to afford it.
Plus, you can use it all.
Yeah.
So,
get him to spend all his time sticking stuff together and painting it.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was last summer, not this year, but last year's summer. I remember thinking at the start of it, I was going to try and get my oldest into doing some stuff because he spent, they all spend hours and hours sitting in their rooms or whatever doing nothing. And I thought, he could have a whole army painted by the end of the summer holiday. Didn't get anywhere in the end.
No. So, Rosa says that do they only make 1,500? Is that the Barlin's Tomb game? Do they only make 1,500 of those?
Wow, really?
Didn't know that. I might sell my copy.
Ask Aaron, Hobby Hermit. Maybe he's got a few copies left. You never know.
Yeah. They only make 1,500. That doesn't sound like very bad.
No, that seems really stupid. I don't know why they do that. It was a great little game.
I would have thought. I mean, that's the sort of game I would have thought they would want to put into shops. That they've put in. I know they haven't done that, but like they've done Bladeborn in game, because I think if people saw that game in Smiths, say, they would buy it because we know Brian likes Lord of the Rings. Let's get that. And you don't need to have any knowledge of war games or Games Workshop or Warhammer or anything to play it. No. It's very self-explanatory and it's really quite good fun.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's not too heavy on the rules, but there's a little bit in there to make all the heroes heroic, and without giving anything away. Some of the goblins just die in droves, which is great fun because they keep popping up, and it's a bit whack-a-mole-esque, and I just really liked it. And
it's very similar in concept to the I forgot what it's called, the Lost Patrol game.
Yes, although
but I think it's easier.
I was going to say the Lost Patrol game. It feels like it's just how quickly will you get wiped out?
It's easier than Lost Patrol, but it's that in concept. It's basically you've got the hardcore fellowship trying to survive for the existence of the game. While the goblins just keep coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how much the replayability of it is going to last, although there are little mini challenges and you can obviously swap sides, and I think there are definitely some tactics you could then try and hone. And
that's kind of what I was saying about why it would be good in Smiths, because I think it depends on what you're looking for in a game. I think if you're looking for a war game, or even even like an Underworld style game, or even Bladeborn, I think it hasn't got much replayability because it's pretty simple. But if you look at it from the perspective of a board game that you bought in a board game shop, then I think it's fun. It looks great, and each game is different, and it doesn't take too long, and it's not too taxing. So it depends on what you're looking for, whether it's got replayability. That's kind of feels like a bit of an obvious thing to have said.
And I think as well, it can definitely be something you could use to hook maybe less gamery or non-gamery friends or family or children in to an extent, because there's not too much to it, but there's enough there that if somebody's going to find that kind of thing interesting, they might think, oh, actually, I quite enjoyed doing that. I wonder what else there is.
Yeah, I suppose the only problem with it is from that perspective, is it's a two-player game, It's not really a family game because you only
No,
two.
true. So Northam says he wished the Necromancer, the new Aeronautica, weren't Forge World only. What's that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
New Aeronautica? Because Aeronautica is not Forge World only.
No. It's a family weight game with a bit of crunch. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not too much. That's a good thing. It's not too crunchy either. You could make it crunchy, but I don't think you need to.
Oh, John Grant agrees. So they clearly understand what's going on, but I don't.
What's going on? What's about this Necromancer and new Aeronautica?
Yeah.
Trying to Google it to see if I can work out what they're talking about, but nothing useful has come. So I'm
See if I can find my Barlin's tomb. What I've done with it. I'll take it. Oh, it's up here. Well, if there's only 1,500 made, there's not much point in me talking about it, really. Here it is.
Here's a game you can't have. Ha!
Put the lid on sideways. But I've now got the Fellowship to paint, and I think that's when I was thinking about Warcry earlier, Pete. I was thinking, I got the Fellowship to paint. Maybe I should look into what makes a small Middle Earth game force, and paint that up. And because I obviously love Lord of the Rings, and I've never kind of almost surprised myself that I haven't been into the game and bought the miniatures and painted them, because I painted loads of Star Wars Legion models, and I'd never played that either. But because I like Star Wars and I like the Lord of the Rings, maybe I should paint the Lord of the Rings models. But I never have, so maybe I've now got those. I might paint them up.
The problem you then have is that you'll paint them. Oh, the Necromancer for Middle Earth. Okay.
Middle Earth. Okay. Sorry, I'm totally confused yet. No room yet.
The problem you might have is you might paint them and then go, actually, let's try a game with this Middle Earth strategy thing, and then realise, they're the wrong scale.
Well, Fellowship is near enough a tournament army. Hey, there you go.
It's one of those things, like, we could do that, and I'm sure that if it was just us and there was no channel, we could probably spend ages getting models for that and fighting bigger and bigger games and doing different scenarios and creating a whole campaign thing out of it and stuff, and we could probably spend years of our life into our old age and old folks homes creating all of this stuff. But when you have the channel as well, it just takes all of that time, and it probably wouldn't translate too well to the channel either. So
no, so we won't do that. Or we could just screw the channel.
Yeah, yeah.
Start playing. So see you, everybody.
2022, the year we stopped giving a fuck about the channel and went and did our own thing.
Yeah. I have to stick with one skirmishy type game. I think I've got to pick Marvel Crisis Protocol or this one, or Middle Earth. I can't do both. I could barely do one, let alone both.
Yeah, I do like Marvel Crisis Protocol. I would like to. I think I need to buy some of this. The only problem I have with that is the fact that they quite often release a model and then it sells out incredibly quickly, and then you can't get it for love nor money for ages.
Yeah, but it comes back round. There are so many models now, it doesn't matter.
There is that.
So if you want it when it comes out, that's a pain. But there are so many models. They do come back round, and there's so many models now that you can just buy them later when they return, when people don't want them, because people chase the new hotness and that. Yeah. So you won't be able to get the new thing that's just come out, but the other things that they've restocked, nobody wants anymore because they've been out for 6 months.
I would definitely love to paint up the X-Men. The X-Men team. That would be something I'd love to do.
Yeah.
The proper Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey, all that kind of stuff.
I think I got them cheap somewhere, probably Will & Games. It's got Cyclops and whoever Cyclops comes with. I don't have Wolverine yet. I didn't want to tread on your toes.
Sorry?
I haven't bought Wolverine. I didn't want to tread on your toes.
That's right. I would have to paint him up in yellow. It's got to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. My enthusiasm gets Andrew into the Marvel games. Well, that's it. Maybe that could be our USP. My ridiculous enthusiasm for stuff, except when I'm losing.
Yeah, I mean that at least attracts the kind of people who are our patrons, and those are the kind of people we want to attract, right?
Exactly.
Because if you're one of these people that makes stuff that's based on just what's good, what's the best thing, what's the top-notch thing, and all that kind of stuff, you're going to find that you're always going to be chasing that thing, and I just don't give a shit about that.
Johnson needs to play MCP so he understands the rules. Yeah, and the rules are very simple, but it is one of those games that once you've started playing, it becomes clearer. Again, that can get very competitive, but that's up.
I feel all of these things, they're like, you could be very competitive with it.
Yeah.
You could look into it and crunch the numbers and pick the best aeronautica planes, the best underworld warband, the best deck, the best MCP characters, the best tactics. Or you could just set stuff up on board, throw some dice and have some fun.
Exactly. Which is kind of what we did for our game with Matt, because we just took the 5 models and just played, or 5 each, and just played. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was going to say something else, and I've completely forgotten what it was.
Oh, Stone says that the miniatures for the Necrons in Aeronautica are only going to be from Forge World. Wankers.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's rubbish.
Oh, I'm still going to get them. And fuck you, GW.
That's rubbish. Is that confirmed somewhere? Or just rumoured? That's rubbish. Boo! Boo! Down with this sort of thing, because that's why I didn't get into the bloody game in the first place, because I thought it was just Forge World.
Yeah, I was hoping that you'd get the occasional model that was Forge World only, and we would just ignore those for the most part. Or if we really wanted it, we would get it, and you just have to put it. I think putting planes together though out of resin will be easier.
Well,
generally the bits all slot together, whereas on models it's like trying to get arms to stick at fantastical angles and stuff like that.
Was that no? It hasn't been confirmed, or no? It isn't a rumour.
Yes, no.
That sucks. No, that sucks. Okay. I'm confused now. I remember what I was going to say. I wish cooperative games were more popular as YouTube viewership.
Yeah.
Because A, I'd have an excuse to play my massive, well, not massive, but reasonably sized Marvel Champions collection on the channel, and B, I could play other games that I really like now. Cooperative games, they're far less stressful for me, and I wish people enjoyed watching those more.
I don't mind cooperative games. I like to see some level of competition, even if it's in a narrative style or in our more slightly laid back style. I like to at least see there being 2 people and who's gonna win against the other, but I don't know about cooperative so much. I guess when it's cooperative I'm like, I don't have as much investment in it, because it's like we could just say we've won and then we're done.
More, because it doesn't matter if I don't win. That doesn't make any sense, does it? But because it matters more if I win in a competitive game, I don't like to get so invested, because I worry about then being a bad loser.
Yeah, what have we got here? Rosa says he loves co-op games, so better when you can play with rather than against. I mean, there is that aspect to it. At the end of the day, if you're all playing on the same side and you win, everyone gets to win. Nobody has a shitty game, which is definitely a big plus for me. It's not like...
I mean, ultimately, I would roleplay all the time if I could. There you go.
But that does not get YouTube clicks.
No, it does if you're really good at it, but no, it doesn't. But that's what if I could play it all day, every day, it would be role playing.
But then I mean, you possibly could do a channel out of that. The problem you've then got is you've got to get like 5 people in a room once a week. That would be nearly impossible.
Yeah, and it's shit unless you've got some really good people. It's shit, because it's really hard to do, really hard to keep it interesting. As you alluded to earlier, it inevitably gets full of in-jokes.
Yeah.
And it would be crap. One of our friends occasionally streamed his systems, and he was a good GM, and I'm sure the games were good, but my God.
Yeah, it's not a spectator sport. Definitely not a spectator sport. The other problem is when role playing and stuff like that, and when you're in a group of friends, one of my go-to things to do when I'm just in a group of friends that I know them all really well, so I like to come up with really, really
racist comments. No, sorry.
well, not racist, but I like to come up with really, really shocking jokes, because it's just funny to say really shocking jokes, and you could do that on a YouTube channel.
No.
And the only reason I like doing it is because everyone sits there. It's a bit like, watching Frankie Boyle. He says things that you sit there and you cringe. You're like, you can't say that. He's quite funny, but you can't say that. And that's part of the attraction. So you definitely couldn't do a YouTube channel on that stuff.
Do the YouTube clicks matter? Can you contract on producing for patrons? Well, you kind of need both. You kind of need both, I think. This is where there was the continual if you don't have the YouTube presence, you don't get the patrons.
Yeah, you don't get new patrons, and whilst a lot of our patrons are very, very loyal, we have lost about 30 in the last month or two, 3 months, because life happens and people move away from the hobby for a million different reasons.
Well, and we moved away from what we were all about when people joined,
which is fair enough as well. So it is that kind of thing that you do want to keep encouraging new viewers, because then new viewers might become new patrons. So it's tricky. I mean, the option we've kind of gone with at the minute, which is mostly we do what we want, and then if people watch on YouTube and like it and come around, then that's great. But we haven't picked up. I think we picked up a new patroner last week. Was it?
Very exciting.
Yeah, it was very exciting because we hadn't had a new patron join for 6 months.
Yeah,
but we had lost about 30 patrons in 6 months. So.
Yeah. We never quite made it to 100. We nearly got to 100.
I think we did just hit 100.
Oh, did we? Okay, I never saw it. I never saw that hallowed number roll over.
We did just about hit 100, and then it all just went downhill from there.
Jason makes very good points about role playing. I like the idea that he says when he watches other people role play, he's like, "You're role playing wrong. Stop role playing wrong." It is weird, even not watching them. Even when you join a new role playing group, and they don't do it the same way as you do, it's very strange.
It's a bit like we did some role play for a little while with a guy you used to know, but with a beard.
Yeah, guy I work with, yeah.
And he was very, he was very tight on the rules, and we were very much not very tight on the rules. And I remember him saying something once about somebody said, "Oh, I'll take that broadsword" or something, and he said, "Oh, make sure you keep an eye on your encumbrance" or something. And it was like that scene from Goodfellas or whatever, where they're all laughing hysterically for like 5 seconds. Everyone was like, "Ha! Oh, you're serious?" No, we don't do that.
Yeah, but also because he was talking about it afterwards, because I think his group's a very, very serious role-playing group. Yeah. We were a bit more about the kind of set pieces and the fighting, I think.
And jokes about boobs.
And he was amazed how many injuries we sustained over the course of a day's role play. Whereas his group, if somebody got into a sword fight and they got injured, they would be incapacitated for 3 months. Their character would be, so they didn't really fight very often. It's like, well, hang on a minute.
Oh, wow.
What's that about? It's literally like into the room, have a fight, take some damage, chug a potion, next room.
Kill someone else, kick a door in, set off a trap, 3 people nearly die.
Yeah. Like, everybody enjoys these things in a slightly different way.
Yep, coin weight, says Wolfman Gaz. I mean, I remember us going into one place, and I can't remember what it was, but we picked up thousands of gold coins from a room, and we were all just joking for like 10 minutes after about how we were all just walking around with these massive rucksacks. And I think somebody in the group worked out, it's like, we've just picked up like 1 ton's worth of gold coins, and like the halfling was carrying it. Like, yeah, but it all goes on the credit card, right? The D&D credit card.
Well, it almost did. Rather than just, anyway, nobody needs to know us talking about it, but it almost had like a party gold pot, which just got bigger and bigger and bigger and divided up at the end of the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I prefer to just focus on the fun elements and combat. If you've got a good system, I think 3.5 was not fun for me, but version 5
was good. Yeah.
5 was much better. That was fun, and the combat system wasn't too long, wasn't too onerous, but there was stuff. Action was going on, things were always happening, and that was the thing we were always more interested in.
Maybe we scared off the patrons who left because they read the Discord. I don't think that has happened too often, but I think it has happened.
Coin weight was just one of those things we just never bothered with. Right, what have we got? People like, you found a red gem. How much gold is it worth? Just give me the gold value.
Yeah, we don't care about gems.
Yeah, just whatever the fuck.
No, it's important for this gem. Oh, right, this is important for the plot. Right, we'll keep that.
Is it magic? No, how much gold is it worth? You found a silver tiara. Don't give a shit. How much is the gold? Let's keep this rolling. Come on.
Having fun is the ultimate goal when playing a game. You clearly haven't played enough Warhammer 40,000.
But that is exactly my ethic. If at any point you start getting bored with the game, it's time to get the fuck out. And that's kind of why we stopped playing Underworlds, because we kind of stopped having fun with it.
Yeah,
definitely started to get to a point where it's like, guess we're going to have to do Underworlds this week. What are we going to do?
Yeah, definitely. Or I certainly. Oh God, I suppose Pete's coming around and see me. Not quite the same thing, but really there.
3.5 was definitely a system for people who like to crunch the numbers. It was definitely a crunchy system. It was when you had to work out to get your initiative, you had to do about. It looked like an A-level maths question with the different things you had to take into account. Like, I never I don't know how long we played that system. It was a couple of years, I think, because it was when Dave was GMing it. I don't know how long we played that system. I never understood initiative. I just rolled a dice and said it, and then at some point someone said, "Right, it's your turn, Pete." And I was like, "Excellent."
Yeah.
That was one of those systems where I was a bit like Stu. Every time we would all get together, I'd be like, "What are we doing again? What's going on?"
Yeah, I can maybe remember when characters get good and they have multiple attacks, and you were trying to stagger the. I remember doing that for Wolfrock, trying to stagger the attacks because there was a kind of house rule, not house rule, but extra rule that was added later, which you could split the initiatives down to stop the elf basically going first with their Chengajillion attacks, and there'd be nothing left to do. But it just became unwieldy in the extreme.
Yeah. I would love to see a game system, a bit like role-play system, so you all have your heroes or whatever, but focus a lot more on the models on the tabletop in the combat system side of it, but make it not about measuring distances so much and more freewheeling, but a bit like Barlin's Tomb in some ways, where you have the heroes just wading through loads and loads of enemies, just smashing people up left and right, and just getting that kind of very epic feel about it would be great fun.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one because I've always found combat the most boring bit of roleplay. But Barney's Tomb would be fun every now and again to do.
Yeah,
It's striking a balance, trying to strike a balance with what everybody wants in the party as well, because people want different things with their gaming experience, don't they?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, not the whole game being like that, but you could have elements of it where when you get into combat, you can big up the heroic side of your characters. Because I mean, it's funny, it's a double-edged sword for me. I used to love having a brand new character, this level 1 fighter, ranger, mage, whatever it was. They're always a bit shit, but so full of promise and potential. But you get into combat and one goblin would shank you and that'd be it. You were screwed. You couldn't even take on a giant rat type thing. But when you did, like you say, you got characters who started to level up and got multiple attacks and all these fireballs and stuff, it started to get a bit dull because it was just like, oh no, there's 16 goblin fireball. Right, next room.
Yeah, or you have to fight a really big monster and it just takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John agrees that combat can be done on RPGs. Andrew thinks that Blitzbolt is potentially better, requires more skill than Underworlds. Not when I play, it doesn't. But I can see that. But you're right, Andrew. If you don't play it with any skill whatsoever, it's still really good fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely both approach it, and there's no prep up front with Blitzbolt, which is a massive thumbs up for me. Milky asks if I'm drinking Radox bubble bath. No, it's just a weird shaped water bottle.
Weird shaped water bottle.
What else have we got here in the comments?
Does look like does look like bubble bath. A RPG called Lancer. Jason's playing a sci-fi mech game where you are role playing as the pilots. The game is abstract theatre of the mind. But when in the mechs is a hex-based tactical combat game. Interesting. That's pretty cool.
I quite like the idea of that kind of thing.
Hex-based tactical combat game, Pete.
It also kind of, because you're in a mech, it's a bit more realistic, like in role playing. I know it's all make believe, but it always seems a little less realistic when you get the shit kicked out of you by a bloodthirster or whatever in one room. You'd always pop a quick potion and somehow sleep in that room in a dungeon, and then you'd be fine to go into the next room in the dungeon. Like, this just breaks, it just doesn't make sense to me. I always dislike that bit of dungeon crawls.
It makes sense. I think that's evolved to be better over the years.
Yeah.
John Soby says he liked the system in Over the Edge. You had to narrate your attacks. If you just said I hit him, then you got negatives after the first swing as you were being predictable. That's really cool. In our role-playing group, that would have been terrible because at least 2/5 of the party had no imagination.
and the rest would sit there going, I'm going to jump on the chandelier, swing across the room, do a double backflip somersault whilst throwing my throwing daggers. Right, roll to hit then. 1. You missed, you slip, you fall, you break your neck, you die. Would be pretty much how it went for us. I'm glad that I still have the crown for the only person to have a character die in our what must be nearly 2 decades worth of role-playing sessions.
Yeah, it's not a real great claim to fame, is it? But you did it.
I did it. You'd show me someone else who's done that, eh?
So what's everybody else going to be playing in 2022? Tell us in the comments. What do you want to play?
Well, we know Roz is going to be playing loads more Underworlds because he kicks ass.
Yeah. Rosa also mentioned further up the chat that he has enjoyed Curse City. I guess, unfortunately, the less said about Curse City, the better.
Yeah. Curse City.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody's got to enjoy it. But yeah, what's everybody looking forward to? Are you hoping for a resurgence in Underworld? Are you looking for something entirely different in your gaming experiences in the new year? Anybody going to be taking up Marvel Crisis Protocol? Anybody? I'm trying to think. What else is out there? I feel like there's the new. No, that's not out yet, so I won't say that.
Anybody going to be reigniting their old loves of 40k or AOS or anything like that? I know I'm painting up AOS models at the minute, but I'm probably never going to play with them.
Sterling says he just looked up on the internet again, and he might be wrong about the Necrons being Forge World only.
Well, fingers crossed.
Sterling, I mean, obviously, I like our patrons to be right or our viewers to be right, but I really hope you're wrong.
Jason's the other player who jokingly said he'd have his flavour listed on his character.
We were very. You had to try quite hard in our group to get killed.
You had to be a real fucking idiot.
Because we didn't meet that often. It was quite a burden. If you lost a character, it was quite a burden to generate a new one, and then it was always that trying to fit them into the group. It never quite worked, so we didn't do it very often. But sometimes you just can't get away from it.
I never forget when that whole thing went down. I think my character had tried to throw a bomb. He already had only one hand, and then he tried to throw a bomb, and I massively fumbled it. And you, whilst talking to the rest of the group, very expertly wrote on a little piece of paper -1 fate point, slid it across the table to me, and I quickly wrote on that piece of little paper and passed back, I haven't got any. There's a real moment of, well then you're dead, aren't you? There, are you happy?
You should have just marked it off. I would never have known.
Okay. How many fate points have you got picked? -6. But that was a good thing about roleplay, and it's very much like, as we were talking earlier on, roleplay is definitely, it's like the original co-op game system. Even the dungeon master is on side really to an extent, because if the dungeon master just tries to kill the group off, it's just dull. So everybody's kind of on the same page a bit to tell the story. Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments here. There's a wonderful collection of eclectic comments.
What have we got going on?
So Ross is going to be playing Blood Bowl in a Blood Bowl league with his friends, which is pretty cool. If you like Blood Bowl, for me it sounds like the worst way to start. Wolfman Gaz has been playing through Ascension. I'm not sure what Ascension is. So if you could elucidate, that'd be great. John's going to buy more Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures and some more Nurgle stuff from AOS. He was also not selling his. Andrew suggested he sell his Curse City. He's not going to do that because he's hoping to tie the kids in with it down the line. John Sowerby wants to run conventions, or wants to get back to running conventions to break out his Starship Troopers for that. Yeah, is that a game or is it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Starship Troopers game, I think.
Cool. Okay. Everybody knows a chair is an ultimate weapon. Jason Newell says using a bomb was your big mistake. That's a reference to our Merkberg game where he basically chucked chairs at people and did a reasonable amount of damage. John Grant mentions would love to attend a small scale tournament. I imagine all of the tournaments are small scale because the models are only like this big.
Depends on how small the scale. Are we talking about like Aeronautica small scale or just far away?
Jason makes a very good point. A good GM wants the players to succeed, absolutely. And Milky's going to mainly be painting stuff next year. Got Blood Bowl 7's rulebook and Pitch for Crimbo, so looking forward to never getting the time to play it. Yeah, I feel you. I keep buying games with the intention of playing them, and just they go on the shelf next to the other games I have the intention of playing. And somehow, the new game that you buy is going to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to be different this time because this game it's got this slightly different mechanics, so it's going to be easier to get into, and I'll be able to play it solo, or I'll be able to play it with the kids, and then it goes on the shelf.
It never does. A bit like Kill
this
Team.
game, Copenhagen. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant game. I mean, I don't know if it'd be suitable for the channel, but it's a brilliant game. Really enjoyed it. Never play it. It's really good. I thoroughly recommend it.
I can definitely see us in the years in the future just moving away from any kind of tabletop game and just going into board games. I mean, we used to have the board game group, didn't we? They used to be the board game gatherings. But that's all kind of got knocked on the head these days at the minute.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Jason Neal says that his gaming buddy and he will be doing a Friday game day regular to get through his unplayed games. That's a good idea. I think, yeah, if I could suggest to anybody, if you can do anything, one of those things is just to have a day in the week. You know, whatever night it is, get a night, organise it with the missus so that she can have a night off as well on her own. Just get that gaming night together with your mates and just start playing something.
Joseph, is there anyone in this chat who honestly say they don't buy games and then leave them sit in a pile of shame? No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's nobody here.
Technically, I don't, because I don't buy any of them and they don't sit in my pile of shame.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I'm the game buyer, aren't I? I'm the one who kids myself. You're more of a pragmatist. You know that you won't play them.
Yeah. There's a lot of games, a lot of stuff GW brought out this year, and I just sat and thought I really like that, and I've just not bought it because I just know it's never going to happen. So don't.
But I'm really, really, really good at convincing myself that I will find time to play it. Could we live stream games? Milky says that would be interesting. I mean, yeah, the thing is, we'd probably have to meet in two places 2 times a week.
Yeah, that'd be the problem. We'd have the choice of either record games or live stream games. The other problem we'd have with live stream games is I'm not sure that the Mac would cope. We would have to somehow try and get the PC out there, and that's already making me feel slightly queasy.
PC.
That's already making me feel slightly queasy. So I doubt that would ever happen. Because we wouldn't be able to have one that we would bring in and out, because that just would not work.
No.
So
yeah. I don't know whether my son's new gaming laptop would be able to do it, but he might want to use it in the evening.
Yeah, probably. He'd just be hooking it up, and to be honest, you guys do not want to see us play games live.
No. And I'm going to. What was the rule again?
Let's look at this. I'm going to accidentally knock everything over. Oh shit! And then we're going to go back 2 turns, and yeah, I don't think that would be as interesting or as entertaining. It would be less hassle for us because we wouldn't have to edit it. But yeah.
Jason says he's played all the games he's bought at least once.
John Grant's got to go. See you, John.
Bye, John. Yeah, I wish I could say that. I've probably played most of them once, to be fair. But there are some games that I just haven't played. Or I've played once. That was brilliant. I must play that again. I've never played this. Role play. I really want to play, but I haven't really got any people to play it with. That's the other problem. I buy games that my family won't play with me.
Yeah. But then I sit there and I think, sometimes I see videos or stories and stuff about people who, started to play stuff like GW games or whatever with their other halves or their kids, and I just think, I'm not sure I want that. Because, at least when I'm playing against you, there is, if it's a competitive game, there's a level of competitiveness. One of us wants to beat the other. But if I'm playing against the kids or the wife or something, if I beat the kids, they might start getting moaning about it. Sorry?
You're not allowed to beat the kids anymore, Pete. Oh, you mean a game? Sorry.
It's just that thing of, there's going to be that thing of, if I beat them, they're not going to want to play the game anymore, so I'm going to have to throw the game, or, especially with the missus, it'll be like, if I just thrash her, she's just going to be like, I can't be bothered with this is stupid. I mean, obviously there are people out there who find other halves who are genuinely interested in the game, and there is that level of competitiveness there, which is great. But yeah, my family don't have that, so it's a bit like sometimes when the wife or somebody suggests to us, oh, let's play poker, when we've had some friends who I'm like, no, let's not, because no one here cares about it. So it's not really going to be a game of poker because no one even understands the rules. So it's just not fun.
My wife is very competitive and knows it, and therefore doesn't play games very often.
John Selby says he's lucky his wife is a competitive gamer. That's good. Nice if you can find it.
So yeah, my wife and I do the crossword together. That's our equivalent of playing a game. It's like a co-op game, really.
Yeah, that's true. Jason says that he needs that from his relationship with his wife. I don't know. I'm quite happy knowing that I have this aspect of my life that's mine that I share with my friends, rather than it being a thing I also have to share.
I like to do both, but they're very different games, obviously, that play with the family to with you.
I don't mind playing games with my family, but more family-based games like...
Yeah, we've been playing King Domino.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed. But I do sometimes. Do you ever do this? You think, oh, it'd be really nice to play this game. There's a few games that we play a lot, but it'd be nice to play this game with the family. And then about 10 minutes in, they're all bickering and arguing and talking over each other. Yeah. And you just think, why the bloody hell did I think this would be a nice idea? Why do I like playing games? Because it's always awful.
Yeah. One of them's decided that they're going to play the game completely contra to how you're meant to play the game to try and get as few points as possible, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad that's not just my family does that. My middle one does that all the time. I think to infuriate his older brother. But yeah, and then it just ends in, and then you think, my God, that was awful. They hated it. I don't know why I suggested it. And then the next day they go, oh, that was really good. Can we play that again? It's like, but you literally, all three of you literally just moaned for the entire 45 minutes that we played it. But apparently they loved it.
In fact, 1 minute, I'm pretty sure I said, all of you little fuckers better shut up. I'm pretty sure I said that. Yeah, we do that. Every now and then we'll have like a family game thing where we'll pick 3 or 4 games, and there'll be like Sushi Roll and King Domino and Exploding Kittens or whatever else is, whatever else we might pick out. And generally after the first game, the kids are like, right, we done? No. We each picked a game, we're going to play each game. You little bastard.
My son is currently very into Pokemon. Again, my middle one's having a Pokemon phase. Even to the point he's been going to this Pokemon club at the local games shop. And but he's started printing out meta decks. And he says, do you want to play? I've built a deck that can counter the meta deck. Do you want to play? Of course, he's only 13. His deck that he's built is shit because it's like of cards he owns, and he doesn't know how to build it. He's like, I'm playing this game against this meta deck. It's just like, it's literally like that cartoon. I might have said this last week actually. I feel like but it's literally like that cartoon with the
everything triggering everything else.
His goes like an hour. And I go, right, well, I'm going to play this Pokemon, this energy, and then it'll be dead the next turn. And I go, I'm going to play this one, and it's utterly pointless. But he loves it. And it makes him feel good, so I just take the beating, and then wait for next weekend and do the same again.
My youngest started to get a bit into Pokemon, and we bought a few of the pre-made decks. You can buy the pre-made ones. So we bought a couple of those, and then I played one, he played the other. And first time I didn't quite, I decided, he doesn't know what he's doing here, so I pulled a few punches and he beat me. So I think, paying it in. Get him interested and all that kind of thing. And then we played it the next time, and I tried a little bit more, but I still didn't go 100%, and he beat me again, so he was really interested in it. And the third time I played him, and I actually tried to beat him, and it all went tits up, and then he beat me a third time. But I just found the games really dull. They were really slow. I was like, this isn't that fun to me.
I thought you were going to say, and then he said, this is shit, I can beat you every time. I enjoy it, but like a lot of games, it goes on a bit too long for me.
Way too long.
And I think probably if we play with similar decks that were pre-generated, it would probably be more fun. Yeah.
Mr. Myers talking about turning games into drinking games, and I still would have loved to play something like Underworlds, but every time someone scores, gets a glory or something, you have to take a shot.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to play in the Shadespire days rather than the Beastgrave days.
That's true. Although Rivals format maybe, although even in Rivals we were scoring double-digit glory, so could get dicey.
Jason says he knows lots of board gamers who whinge as a game strategy trying to elicit sympathy or distract from what they're doing so they can win.
There's nothing worse than playing somebody who whinges and moans.
I've occasionally done that by accident.
There's nothing worse than playing somebody who whinges and moans all the way through a game because of their luck or something, and then they win anyway.
I've never set out to do that. I know I have whinged, and then you haven't done something because it's going. I want to be fair, it was going really badly, but then suddenly it all turned around at the end on a dice roll.
Like, oh, you've won anyway. Isn't that lovely?
It felt even worse. I hate a game. I'm sure I've said this before. What I hate
games with specky beard wankers.
It's when you feel like it's entirely out of your control, and you're just sitting there just being battered, and there's nothing you can do. I hate that feeling.
It's like comes around to your turn. You've had 2 rounds of Underworlds go absolutely shit, and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. What do you do? What's it fucking matter? I'm going to turn this model around. Yeah. There we go.
We played a game. I can't remember what deck you were using. We played a game, and I finally got to charge with my Godsworn Hunt at something, and you played something that meant you ran away. Or you played stand and shoot, and killed him.
I think it was Thundrix or something like that.
Yeah, you played stand and shoot and killed him, and I was just like, oh, fuck this. Finally got to do what this deck's meant to do, and you've just shot him before he even got there.
Shit all over it. Or like that game where I was McGaw's. I couldn't hit a fucking thing all game. Like, while fine.
Yeah. There's still the odd game. Remember that Thundrix game, that Godsworn Hunt game, and the game from years and years ago when I played Severin Steelheart, and just nothing worked.
Or my favourite one, where we played, I think I had Fast Riders and you had Gerzag. And your first set of cards you drew out, you went, these are shit, can I reshuffle them? I was like, yeah, alright then. And you reshuffled them, and then like turn 1, you just had the perfect combination of cards, like charge.
I think I reshuffled them twice.
Something like that, yeah. And then,
but I did say to you, again, we've counted this story before, I did say to you, these cards are really good. Shall I shuffle them back in because it's not fair? And you went, no, it'll be fine. And then they wrecked face.
And I think you wiped out all the Fast Riders by the end of round 2 or something like that. I'm like, fine. At least in that kind of situation, you know, at least if you're playing a co-op game, if one person's having shite luck and the other person's rolling hot, it kind of balances out a bit.
Yeah. Necrons will be in plastic. They will not be forged rod only. And he was mistaken to talk to a retailer friend of his. Ooh, interesting. I love how you've got retailer friends on tap at this time of night. Yeah. Unless you're not. I suppose you could be somewhere else, but cool. Well, that's good. It's good to know. See what you did. You created a problem and then you solved it. It's very clever. You should go into politics.
Yeah.
Now we think you're a hero.
That's fine. Plastic. That's good. I mean, I was probably going to buy them anyway, but this way it's cheap.
Even if they were only available in gold from the jewellers, they'd have still been in there.
Yeah. It's worth pointing out, I don't know how many of our patrons are still watching or how many of our patrons are going to watch this later on, but nobody's entered our Christmas competition yet.
No, I meant to comment about that. Patron Discord, yes. And if you want to enter it, just sign up to be a patron and enter the competition. You can, because anybody can enter who's a patron.
And your chances of winning have suddenly skyrocketed.
Well, at the moment, they're pretty much, if you enter, you'll win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Mitchell from the Oklahoma that's just arrived.
Hello.
We're not long on the air, I'm afraid, but this month's competition for patrons, whatever level you're at, is basically take a photo of you in the most festive situation watching Agents of Sigmar, and the winner wins the red gobbo. We'll order you a red gobbo to be delivered to your door.
Because you can order that after Christmas, it's up till like January or something like that.
Up to the end of beginning of January, you can order it. So you can, and they'll deliver it in the middle of March or something. Yeah. So that's the prize. So if you're not a patron, you can chuck in at $2 and then enter. And at the moment, you'll win.
Yeah, because no one's joined. Mr. Martin's going to he's going to put a photo on Friday saying, I wonder who it's
So
going
at
to
the moment, Andrew is going to win.
Even in your front room decorated up, Rosa, right now. Nobody's
At the
entered,
moment,
so
before Friday, but Andrew might smash it. He's probably going to have Max done as the baby Jesus or something. It's going to be hard to beat.
another
John,
stateside.
it's funny how you kind of have visions of people, even though you don't know them at all, where they come from. For some reason, John, I was absolutely sure you lived somewhere like Sheffield in the UK.
Is that because of the surname Sowerby?
But maybe, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah. So I was completely, utterly wrong. The weather, I assume, is probably much better in Florida than it is in Sheffield at the moment. Jason doesn't really want a red goblin. Well, we would maybe extend it to other things, but we just wanted to make it all festive themed, Jason. We'll send you some snags for your Barbie or something.
It was a similar thing where we were talking to somebody and they were Australian, and we were talking to someone else about things, and then we were like, oh, you don't know them.
Because Yorkshire. Brilliant. Sorry.
And we were talking about that, and we were like, oh, but this person's Australian as well, but they don't know each other. Then you kind of think, Australia's really fucking big. Why would they know each other? Max will be a blue horror. That will win it.
Yeah, that would win, yeah.
It's like, I remember when I was in Vegas years ago, I was at a blackjack table and the croupier was talking to everyone, asked one couple where they were from, and they said, oh, we're from London. And they worked their way around the table and got to me and like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from London, because no one's going to know where the fuck I was. So London was the easiest, closest thing. So I was like, I'm in London. Like, hey, do you know these guys? And like, do you know how many people are in fucking London? No, I don't know those guys. Wanker.
Do you know what I found out last week? And you do know what I found out last week because I put it on the Patreon Discord, Pete. But there are more people live in Tokyo than live in the whole of Canada.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Well, more people live in England than in Canada, don't they?
Yes, but yeah, they do.
I mean, Tokyo, yes, city versus country, that's more impressive. But even still, I thought Canada, due to size, there'd be more people there than England.
It must have one of the lowest population. Well, in fact, in that same book where I got that piece of information, there's a picture of where the 95% of Canadians live, and you know how big Canada is. And there's the tiny bit that kind of dips into the USA a little bit. Yeah. Sort of goes along and it dips in. The line goes halfway across that dip. So 95% of the people who live in Canada live in the tiny bit just above the US, and the other 5% of the rest.
I think I'd like to live in Canada or New Zealand, one of those two.
Just in the bit right at the top where nobody lives, Pete, on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I could get decent internet, that'd be fine.
John and Rosa are talking about Bridlington. I've never been to Bridlington, so I can't get into that comment. Rosa, are you saying Aristeo is going to get cancelled? I've never played it. Well, I played it once, so I can't really have a comment on that either.
I think he's going to say you're going to get cancelled because you're a racist.
I see.
Mitchell asked how hot question for him is how do the Eyes of the Nine perform Blade? We will find out this week because we're recording a game. Yes,
we are playing. I think Pete's going to play Garrick's, which are his favourite, and I'm going to play Eyes of the Nine, which are my favourite, and we're going to find out who's the best or who's the worst.
Corners classic.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Looking forward to that.
Those games will probably come out in the new year because I've got a game of Aeronautica I still need to edit, and a game of Battle of Balin's Tomb to edit, and I've also got to do our Christmas messages.
Yeah, you've been very busy.
Well, not very busy.
You've been too busy doing other things on the channel. Yeah. Agents of Cricket now. Is the cricket about to start? Does the test start now? No, it must be Thursday.
A bit late for cricket. I hate cricket.
They're playing in Australia.
Bloody hate cricket. Actually, that's not fair. I hate all sport. It's unfair for me to single out cricket alone. I hate all sport equally.
Fair enough. Oh, Manchester City leads 7-0. Pete, I knew you'd be excited about that.
Yes, definitely. Very excited about that. The only thing I could slightly get interested in is like World Cups or Euro Cup. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's about my level. Everything else just seems to be like rich people dick measuring. It is how it feels. Except Blood Bowl, yes. Technically not really a sport though, but yes. Although, I'm not that much of a fan of Blood Bowl anymore, but Blitz Bowl.
So I would rather watch most real sport than play Blood Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, Blood Bowl's definitely off the list.
You guys like me.
Valentine,
Valentine, he thought cricket was an animal. Well, yes. Apparently it's a sport too.
Very, very tasty.
We did shout out, I don't know if you were in Valentine, we did shout out straight out of Shadespire at the beginning.
And there is a link in the chat.
Now, if anybody's just joined in the middle for some random reason, Valentine is organising did you say it was the 19th or the 18th edition of Straight Out of Shadespire? 19th, this weekend online. Check it out. And Pete did put the link in the comments.
Yeah.
I think you can do that again, Pete.
Well,
the eyes of that championship or rivals. It's Bladeborn, Rosa. Bladeborn. We're going to play Bladeborn with the Eyes of the Nine versus Garrix.
This Saturday, 18th. It is
this
the 19th season.
Oh, you see, that's why I got my numbers muddled up.
Yeah.
It's the 18th. It's the 19th season on the 18th of December.
One thing I'm interested to find out is how people are going to handle the objective markers because they're secret.
Oh yeah. How's that going to work, Valentine? Have you got a plan?
Normally you just turn them over, and then because no one plays actual objective numbers, you then just coordinate with your opponent and said, okay, this can be 1, this is 2, 3, 4 and 5, but you can't do that in this one now then. What's Bladeborn, Rosa? It's only the best name ever.
Check out our videos, Rosa, if you haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to go into it at 5:11.
It's basically war cry on hexes using the Underworld's warbands, and it's tops.
Yeah, so they'll play some like before, so you're just going to play the old objective rules.
Oh, then flip them after synchronising.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter because no one plays the numbers. So it doesn't really matter if you know what the numbers are for the most part.
That is true.
Somebody asked further back up. Andrew asked, "What are we giving each other for Christmas presents?" Well, I only gave Robin his Christmas presents from last year's about a month ago because they'd sat here for ages, which were a couple of comments. But we're not doing it this year because we haven't got the time.
I've got you a present, but mainly because I didn't get you one last year.
Oh, okay. Well, this is awkward now then. Should have kept your magazines.
You got my lovely white dwarfs. So I just saw something and I thought of you. So I like this. John Toby's is Napoleonic naval gaming, which I always think it should be Napoleon. Or always think I thought it said Napoleonic naval gazing, which would be something else.
Val has bought. He's ordered Bladeborn. I think you'll like
it. Excellent. Oh yeah, because you were asking about whether it was suitable for youngsters or which would be better for younger players. Yeah, I think Bladeborn. You can't really go wrong with Bladeborn, especially as you've got everything beautifully painted.
Yes, and we need to find out the other teams we need for fire teams so we can set up the other fire team groups and play them.
Yeah. Jason's off. Cheers, Jason. We're going to go too now anyway, so
yes.
You're not going to miss very much.
Bedtime for us.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. There's 10 of you in, which is really lovely. It's been really great. I think this is the last one of the year, isn't it, Pete?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see everybody else in a year's time.
Hope everybody has a lovely holiday, Christmas period, doing whatever it is you're doing. I hope you get to see whoever you want to see and don't have to spend it with people you don't want to spend it with. And just, stay safe because the world seems to be going to hell in a handcart again. And we will be back in January. And I think maybe we should try and be a bit more organised about what we do for our Tuesday night lives.
Yeah, we always say that. We never are.
We never are.
For 2022, we're just going to have to accept the fact we're just going to be less. We're not organised and it's not going to change.
No, that is very true. Which was just embrace our incompetence.
Yep. It's got us to where we are now, at least.
Exactly. Yeah, so have a brilliant Christmas and New Year, everybody. Do look out for our Christmas video, but that will drop Christmas Day. But thank you to everybody who's watched and tuned in and commented, etc., over a whole crazy year of kind of gaming and not gaming and being stuck indoors and all that kind of stuff. It's been great to have you along for the ride.
Yep. Let's hope the 2022 things open up a bit more.
Yeah, things get a bit better. Things can only get better, really. Hopefully. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So, yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays all. See you next year.
Yeah.
Stay safe.